Ooh-wee. Indeed. And greetings upon you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you, Jovan and Melita. A melt is approaching. I hear footsteps. It's so nice to have you friends here. Unfortunately, our Reddit didn't go live at all. So we'll try again. I was just tuning into Whistleface's stream just before I went live. Let's try that again. Fortunately, these days I make sure to copy my title so we can get back up and running relatively quickly. This time around, it actually worked. So I'll say, indeed, and greetings upon you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again on another day, another opportunity for us to surrender. Hello, Shannon. Beloved friends, thank you for joining me here, for finding me on the YouTube. Like, I went live on Reddit, but unfortunately, it didn't go through the first time, but the second time's the charm, it seems. Here we are. I am feeling. I am feeling things. Things and stuff and things is being felt by me right now. And the only answer I keep getting is surrender. Where it's like, okay, you you loved and you served. Now it's time to surrender. And I really, at least the masculine part of myself really doesn't like to surrender. But I don't think there's any other way anymore. YouTube gang, lovely friends. Even Jenny is here with us. Thank you for joining us. Stuffy stuff and things. Stuffy stuff and things indeed, Melita. It's been a trip. It's been such a trip because it just keeps showing me over and over again that I don't actually know. And that's okay. And that I'm supposed to surrender into that not knowing. I'm supposed to surrender everything. Literally everything. At least that's the message I'm receiving of like, oh, lament, lament, complain, complain, complain. And then life is like, yeah, how about you let go of that? And I'm like, but, and life is like, no, no buts, only let go. Oh, it's so nice to have you here, Naomi. Goodness, it's been a while. How have you been, friend? How's life been treating you? Has it been fair? Has life been fair? I know that is a little bit of a loaded question, but I feel it's a good one to ask ourselves sometimes. Just to see for ourselves what we think about our own lives that we're living. Is life fair right now for you? Do let me know, Naomi. It's so nice to have you here. Naomi's first, I'm second, twice. Where's Titi? Titi, like that dude. I'm so curious. Like, there's so many of you friends who I feel I know now, but I still don't know what you look like. And a part of me wants to, and a part of me is like, bro, don't you have enough stuff in your brain as it is? How about you surrender? You're one to know everything. How about that? And I'm like, no. Holding on even tighter. Hey, Isaac, brother Ben, Jacob. Thank you for joining us. Even Lisa is here. I think I repeated your words yesterday, Lisa. What was it exactly that I said, though? I'm pretty sure I'm losing brain cells or something. The more I surrender, or the more I am expected to surrender, the stupider I feel. And it's the masculine side of myself that likes to be intelligent. So I feel like they go hand in hand. The stupider I feel, the more I realize I should surrender. Because I don't actually know anything. It's difficult. Why is it so difficult, life? Maybe because true surrendering, causes you to die. It causes your ego to die. can cause your physical body to die, and your ego doesn't really want that, so it kind of doesn't want to do that in the first place. Life has been a bit of a roller coaster, mainly frustrated because at the beginning of COVID, they handed out money to help people who were out of work, and now 2 years later, they're telling us we owe back $2,000. That's nice. It's like, yeah, you remember that money we gave you to pay for your, living expenses and potentially food or paying for rent? Yeah, now we want that back, yeah. It's like, what do you mean you want it back, dude? What do you mean? It's like, yeah, we just kind of like, want you to give it back to us. I'm sorry to hear that, Naomi. I am sorry to hear that. $2,000. I don't even have $2,000 right now. Having to give that to someone else. What a trip that would be. Surrendering. And I feel like that is, if anything, just a practice of surrendering as well. Surrender. Let go. Melt more. Because there's only that much we can do. There's only that much we can do when it comes to our relationships, when it comes to our way of feeling, when it comes to the stuff that life throws at us. And fighting life, you never win. Imagine. Just imagine what it like I consider myself a fighter, but I feel like I'm in a dance with life more so than anything these days. Instead of fighting it. And it can be a surrender to dance instead of fighting. You know, expects you to be, maybe feminine is the word. I feel like we might have a few days of quiet. Maybe a day of quiet where we just say nothing. If life is unfair to everyone, doesn't that make life fair? Schmirky schmirk. That's a good point, Felita. What's up, Babs? Says Mariah. We've missed you. My sister. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? How's life been treating you? Capoeira, fight with the universe. Capoeira. I don't know how to say that word, Melita. Capoeira. Capoeira? Maybe that's the way. Capoeira, fight of the universe. Is fighting life to live instead of fight death to live. Instead of fighting life to live, fight death to live. Hmm. That is some philosophy right there. Talking about, let's read something worth saying. This one is the one that called out to me. Some of you have incarnated because you felt compassion. That is, you looked upon the 3D world and saw it suffering, so you yearned to bring light to this dimension. You had to surrender your divinity. You had to surrender your memory. You had to surrender your infinite power to come here. And you were willing to do all of that. Why? To learn surrender? I feel partly. Sure. Capoeira is a martial art discipline that includes a lot of dance inspired moves. Oh, that sounds very intriguing. As I started getting into yoga, I felt a sense of disappointment in myself for not working a little bit harder to do some Tai Chi while I was still in China. I I want to say I had an opportunity to, maybe, had an opportunity to do some Tai Chi, but it was like at 5:30 a.m. or something like that, and I was like, nah. And that was before I really enjoyed waking up early. But now looking back, I think it would have been amazing. We can still do Tai Chi. And I feel Tai Chi is almost kind of like a dancing fight as well, in a way, right? Or am I delusioned? This surrender joint. Man, I feel a little bit defeated. I won't lie. You know, a part of myself feels like it has officially been defeated. Like I've just been beaten down into a pulp. And now I'm trying to reconsolidate the goo. I have officially melted. The real thing that bothers me is I feel yo, what the hell was that? I feel that I'm gonna have to be quiet. You know, like I'm gonna have to be quiet. And I don't think I will be quiet here in stream necessarily, but I am going to be quiet in my family home. I'm just not going to say things. I'm just going to live. And I don't know if I know how to do that just yet. I think I do. At least, you know, my imagination can show me how I'm doing it, but I'll let you friends know how that works out. Hey, my Joe Smoke. It's nice to have you here, dude. Christine, thank you for joining us as well. Mariah saying, no, we're in a paradox where life doesn't have to fight death. Life is fighting life to live. What even is that? Oh yeah, I mean, technically you're right. I don't think life fights life. I think life needs life to live. Maybe that should be the way we say it instead. Life needs life to live. Paradox. What the fuck you just say? Yeah, life needs life in order to live. We need all of it in order to be ourselves, right? Like all of existence, all of infinity is so that we can be as we are right now in this moment. Love you, Melt Fam, says Ryan. We love you, Ryan. I love you so much, Brother Bear. Like, Ryan actually shared a podcast with me today with one of his teachers and another yogi that he kind of like interviewed on a podcast format. And I was laying underneath that little mulberry tree, just being as present as I can with nature. Almost feeling like I'm surrendering to that as well. Like at one point I couldn't really distinguish between myself and nature because there is no distinguishing feature of like, okay, here nature ends and I start. Namaste. Namaste to you, Lisa. Heather is here as well. Thank you for joining us. How's your morning going? Like not great. Not great. Like I was cooking myself a meal this morning, listening to a Terence McKenna lecture to which I got scolded for projecting that nonsense into the open space where other people can hear it. And I was like, okay. So not only am I not allowed to speak, but I'm also not allowed to listen to other people speak if they say anything that goes against what is already believed. So, yeah, that's why I'm just not gonna say things anymore. And it hurts me. Like I am not happy about that. I'm very much not happy about that. But I don't see what else I could do. Like I don't feel there's anything else that I can do but surrender at this point. To submit. to admit that I do not have any power. I'm feeling very much into this melt. I'm coming to terms of having to let go of all of these things I've been holding on to for so long, for such a long time. And although it's scary to me, I'm excited and it feels freeing. Shannon, it's so beautiful to me that you say that. While I was going through today's preparation mindset for today's stream, you came up into my mind, and just thinking into the fact that you have been resonating so purely. Why am I closing this? I'm not done yet. You've been resonating so purely with the messages we've been sharing here. And it's not just you that has been resonating with these messages. And I was thinking to myself how we are interconnected. And the stuff that we're going through as a collective, I'm going through as an individual as well. And then I get to come into this space and share my individualized perspective with you friends. And then we get to learn as a collective. And I was just like tripping out about the amount of interconnectivity that we have with one another right now, how you might actually be sending me messages so that I may be sending you messages without us having to send each other any messages. Oh, goodness. My eye, right. It needs life. There we go. Well, you aren't alone. You aren't alone either, Joe. Thank you so much, friend. I know I'm not alone. I just I had a conversation with Vessel again afterwards, after my dad lost his shit and, told me to stop. Like, and it was not even loud. It was on my phone, like my phone speaker. So, like, max projection distance, like 10 meters at most. And then I was like, I went to my brother and I asked him, did I do something wrong? Like, was I being that obnoxious just listening to a Terence McKenna, lecture on my phone while I was cooking? And he's like, "Oh yeah, you have earphones. We don't want to hear we don't want to hear the things you're listening to," or something like that. And obviously, it's just my projection. But what I heard is, "We don't want to hear the things you have to say," and that's okay. Surrendering, really surrender. Ooh, ooh. Like I usually pull some air through the bud before I actually light it because it also gives you a terpene profile. And that time around, I have two different plants as nugs that I got crushed into here. Orange, no, 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 no. Iced cabbage. And this one is some of the, like I call them the lavendery strains. They have like a lavender smell to them. This one tastes amazing. I have a question. How many people here, I think if you really want an answer, Lisa, like the full words might be easier for people to know. Maybe if people are HSP, they'll actually know what that means and they'll be able to identify or tell you that they're that. Huh! What do they intend to go sit in a room and do nothing but consume? Still alive, but don't actually do anything. That's what I'm seeing right now. Unfortunately, my friend. That is what I'm seeing right now. And I'm not completely free from that because I have moments in which I exhibit the same behavior, but I don't allow that behavior to be my behavior, if that makes sense. Like I'll have moments where I allow myself, entertainment. I allow myself a moment to kind of like decompress and relax when I've been in a state of tension, in a state of doing things, getting things done, melting more, if you will. And then I allow myself a little bit of escape. But all I'm seeing is just constant escape. Constant escape. And then when I try to address what it is we're trying to escape from, then it becomes a subject of tension. Surrendering. I'm scared. I'm scared of lighting this joint, damn it! Just surrender, melt. That's all you have to do, dude. Just surrender. That is how I feel in southern Texas. I can't share these thoughts and truths with anyone else. That's why we're here together. You're completely right on that, Joe. David Ganger, I hope you agree with. I hope you agree there is a ST. Agree there is a ST. I don't know exactly what you meant with that message, David. But you're completely right on that one, Joe. That is exactly why we're here. And I realize that, and I'm realizing it more and more, and I appreciate and I value the friendship that we have in this space and the ability to say the things in our heart without judgment, without resistance, without worry of opinion, being able to surrender. It really is. It really, really is a practice of surrender for me to come into this space every single day as well. I had to surrender so many things in my life, and I don't mourn them because I know the importance of what it is we're doing. A struggle. And the more negative energy is focused upon you is a reaction to the positive that you're doing. Thank you, David Garner. Thank you, my friend. Like I'm sitting in front of a tree, and somehow the one spot where there is like maximum sunlight is exactly where I'm sitting. Thank you, Mr. Sun, for all of the photons that you're blasting from 8 minutes away. Surrender. Truly surrender. This is what happens when you give an old guy new technology. David, like in my head, you're a 20 something year old dude. So you don't have to worry about being old at all, man. We're all just soul. Infinitely old. If we let go of everything, we might not have the urges or motivation to experience things. When we experience, whether good or bad, we learn, and isn't that our purpose? We let go as we age. Old people are usually the ones that give no fucks. It is true. It is true. And I see why, Isaac. And I can see a fractal, like opportunity within inside of myself to become very bitter. And I understand why that happens as well. But I refute going to just, happen by itself. We're going to have to build that fractal for ourselves. I had to work with my tyrannical father for 5 years and it was hell. I finally got out and my true self was able to come out. Joe, goodness, thank you for saying that. Thank you for being that. Thank you for being your true self right now. Thank you for not being a victim to your upbringing or to the parent that you had. I feel like I'm still editing, let's call it, parts of my past, or at least editing the thoughts I have about parts of my past. Like thinking about all of the experiences I had of not being good enough to receive something. Even be it something as arbitrary as a more expensive meal. Like I for the longest time had so much tension and resentment and anger because of that. But in the mindset of surrendering, I get to see it as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to be otherwise, to be the expression of love because I've had the expression of the other. Surrendering to all of the things that have happened and seeing them as a potential to be what you are. I'm surrendering. I'm surrendering. I think you may be already bitter and not allowing yourself to acknowledge and forgive and move on because you're still in the middle of it. I think you might be right, Joe. I think you might be right. That's why I'm saying, I have this. I have this clear fractal in my mind of where I do become extremely bitter. I might be a little bit like almost like when you have a bad day, you know, it has like it leaves like an exchange leaves like a bad taste in your mouth, right? And that bad taste kind of like goes with you throughout the day, even though you can like tell yourself all of the beauty that you see around you, and you can make yourself aware of all of the things you're grateful for. But it still has that bitter taste. So I might feel a bit bitter right now, but I don't imagine myself becoming bitter because of this experience. So that's why I'm saying like I can see how if you continue, you know, putting whatever that experience is back into your mouth, if you keep feeding yourself whatever is making you bitter, right? How that will make you bitter. And I can see my surrendering as me putting down the spoon. Like it's like I got, you know, served this bowl of shit. And I've been like, oh yeah, I'll fucking show you. And I've just been going for it. But now I surrender. You know, like you win. I'm gonna put down the spoon. I'm not going to keep poisoning myself. That's what surrendering means. At least to me in this moment. Little fly dude cleaning himself on my skin. It's pretty rude, dude. It's like mildly rude. But I surrender. Do you can you see him? Let's see if I can lift him up to the YouTube. There he is. What a Chad. Freaking fly. Just imagine you as a human being running up to a being that is like 64,000 times bigger than you are. Literally, you would look up and it would be in the clouds right now. Run up to it and you go and sit on one of its limbs. Start washing yourself. Get out your portable shower and just start like going at it. Just this fly. What a character. What a character. Not a very intelligent one, but a nuanced one, I guess. Highly sensitive person. There we go. There we go. That makes a lot more sense. I believe every single one of us here is an HSP in that case, a highly sensitive person. Right here. I'm struggling with being a highly sensitive person, and my husband is not today. Wondering if anyone has struggled with this in their own personal experiences and relationships. Like it feels like you're asking a question, but the question is describing my relationships. So it's like yes, and then you're asking a question where I'm like, okay, actually, just yes. All of my relationships have been very difficult because of that. I could see how this creates an interesting dynamic. Maybe look at it as a key to part of your love. He's the other side of that infinity that is your marriage. Trust in your partner's feelings to balance out your own. Much love to you. There we go. There we go. What a beautiful thing that is to say, actually, Isaac. And I really appreciate you being a second thinking parallel mindset in this moment because, you know, if we weren't melting more into this space right now, we might have gone without that. So I would like to expand on that as well. You know, Lisa, like, instead of just like thinking of it as the other side of the infinity, you know, to balance, you can also just think of it from a very like story based, you know, perspective of if both of you were extremely sensitive people, you would just have meltdowns. You would just like lose your minds together. Unfortunately, he gets to be this non-sensitive person. You get to be the sensitive person. And I feel maybe if anything, just communicating your needs to him when you're feeling sensitive like that, maybe in a way where like if I'm feeling this way, you don't need to say anything. Just sit still and let me, you know, get some of these emotions out, or like be very clear, be very very clear, especially with men. It helps us if you're just very clear with what it is you want. Because then we're like, oh okay, instructions, I know how to follow instructions. I've been trained how to follow instructions my entire existence. I struggle with my fiance. and both being highly sensitive people. There we go. There you see it. So in that case, you know, you being highly sensitive can make your partner highly sensitive, and them being highly sensitive can mean that they say things that trigger your sensitivity, and then you say things that trigger their sensitivity, and then it becomes, you know, destructive even because you're both sensitive. So maybe him being a little bit colder might be a good thing, and if anything, can be an opportunity for you to find balance within that relationship. So thank you, Lisa. Thank you for bringing that. Thank you, Isaac, for steering us in this direction as well. Thank you for being. Thank you, friend. I appreciate those wise words. Isaac. We literally call him Isaac for that reason. Lisa, it's so beautiful to me. Isaac, like I had his whole mental trip, if you will, right? Where it was like here while I was listening to the podcast, I was just listening to these beautiful men, you know, and both of them were relatively old. And I was thinking about the lives that they've lived, and I was thinking about the trippy experiences that they've had. I was thinking about the interactions that they've had with people, the information that they learned to be themselves, and how much of who they are right now feels like who I am trying to be or am as well in this moment. And then you came up to my mind as well in this way where we've been learning together now. And because of the stuff that you've learned, the stuff that you've done in the outside world, you know, of the massage therapist, and him having that experience, him having that moment of seeing a person that is like him, you having a moment of seeing me that is like you, me having a moment of seeing Ryan who is like Ryan seeing a person who is Mark, and it's just we're all the teachers. Every single one of us is the teacher. Every single one of us is the guru, the friend. We're all just friends. That is really what it's about. And by sharing this information that we all have in our hearts, by sharing our truths, drinking in with every sip, peace, love, unity, and respect, we're changing the world. Literally changing the world. Like seeing the ripple, yeah! I see fractals, but that is just a ripple in its own as well. Because, you know, every single one of us is that fractal. And every single exchange we have is a fractal. And every single exchange we have of that person generates a new fractal. And you're influencing fractals. No matter where you go, you are changing the world. Literally changing the world. I think you're all there. If you look back at your current relationships in the future, only feel frustrated about the painful memories. Let go and move on when you can to melt, specifically. You're so right. You're so right. I feel, you know, it's so paradoxical with relationships as well. If you have moments of like extreme separation, you start to recall the good memories because you're longing, right? Like you have a sense in your heart that this person is something you lack, if you will. So you start wanting it, and then your mind starts generating imagery of like stuff that you've spent with this person that is positive, and it's like, look at this. This is a good idea to see this person again. And then when we're united, like we have so much love, we have so much presence, we have so much potential infinity that we start to, you know, want to separate. Like we experience that union, and the one became two so that it can experience reunification, right? And it's that the infinity looping back and forth, and all you have to do is be aware of that instead of, you know, getting devastated by it. And I feel like even though I try to understand it, I'm still devastated by it. And that's the joke. It's just we're training our awareness. We're training our awareness to notice infinity in everything. Instead of seeing it as a bad, seeing it as an infinite. And that knowing that every single infinite has another side of the curve, has another moment for opportunity. You're that. That is what you are. Pure potential. Your entire life a fractal. Your entire future a fractal. And in this moment, you're influencing. where that goes, where you're blooming, where your life is finalizing in. And no matter where it is, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be good. That's the thing as well. Like there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just about realizing that you have a choice. You really have a choice. I completely agree. Beautiful memories of my father growing up, and I still love those memories. I can't look past the neglect I faced, only realized once grown, but also the neglect I face now. Joe, neglect is exactly what I struggle with as well, but the bear. That neglect, especially from a father, it it is a little bit jarring because there's so much admiration in your heart as a boy for your father. You want to be them. So them not wanting to be with you, it hurts. But it isn't you. It's not you who is, you know, like the one hurting yourself, if you will. Unless you want to get really technical about it. Like if you want to go into the layers. Separation is something that feels like the opposite of love, but it is an illusion. Because if love wasn't true, you wouldn't be here, literally. I forgive every single person that I've ever thought might have neglected me. I saw these green vines, and then they had these yellow egg, like almost like a green leafy coming around, and then a yellow eggish thing coming out, at the top of them. Mm. Sending forgiveness, glowing vine eggs. I think I missed a few messages. We have a choice, but we also are tangled into the mess of the fractal, so it takes a lot of time and effort to get out slash surrender. It does, but it does just take showing up right now. Just being present right now. You are shaping your entire reality. Taking a deep breath right now. Feeling the expansion of yourself as the expansion of the universe right now. Feeling time right now. Feeling your personal energy to move, to breathe for yourself right now. You're acknowledging that which you are. Presence. And just by allowing that, you're literally shaping your future. Because it's from this base point that we're always referencing. It's like a place of stability that we reach. And it's much easier to grow a tree, a fractal, in soil than it is on water. You want something solid. this moment always is. Your awareness, your presence, you're always that which is solid. So you can melt more. Ceaselessly. It's hard to find out they suck after you think the world of them, and then realize that once you're an adult, they don't care about your feelings. It really is. That's why I call people when I'm on mushrooms. I want to talk to them, lol. It's being lack of separation. Yeah, I feel that so much. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that as well, Joe. Sending so much love to you, Lina. Yeah, dude, mushrooms. Like, I really would love that my family would eat more mushrooms as well. Like, the only sibling I've gotten to, well, I don't know if I can say I've gotten him to eat mushrooms. He just kind of came up to me and asked for mushrooms after he turned 18. And I was like, okay, all right, you want mushrooms? Fine. I can give you some mushrooms. And I think he's had three, maybe four trips at this point. His his highest dose trip being 2.22 grams, but it was smaller fruiting bodies, so it might have been a little bit more potent than a conventional dried 2 grams. And he had a good time, and how he describes his experiences is that it allows him to time travel, is his exact words. And the way that I would articulate it, just because I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, that I've had a lot of experiences like that. Instead of it allowing you to time travel, it elevates your perception of consciousness to the point at which it resides, which is fifth dimensional, which technically stands completely outside of time. And then because of that slight separation from the actual time, you get to experience more slices, individual slices of experience within the same time. And then it feels like you time travel. And the crazy thing is, you know what? I don't even know if I want to share this information. Contemplates. It really is crazy. It sounds absolutely absurd. So with that said, it's complete absurdity. But the weird thing is that if you become aware like that and you do it consciously, it's almost like you can get away. How do I want to say this? You can get away with doing things or being late without being late. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's almost like there is a space of existence that is already here in which you already reside. And then by being in that state of existence, you get more done without it costing you time. Yeah, okay. And then the other way of explaining that is like by looking at a single thing, for example, looking at a tree. I can go into the mindset of, its root system. It could have fungal networks attached to that root system. What type of nutrients it might be absorbing from the ground, how the water penetrates, how the flower systems form, how it fractals out, how it has housing for different creatures, animals, insects. And all of that different thought processes that I can follow, for a while, instead of having them in the way that I just said them and how much time that would have taken to say those words, you have them instantaneously, all at once. And you can see them fractaling in front of you. And you're like, hmm, I see. I see. And then like a second has passed and you've just experienced like an hour's worth of information, making it feel like you're almost. But that is, completely. I feel like it's always like something that happens to our family. Like we don't get too much visuals. Like mental trip is almost something that happens. It's a little bit mind melting, and I look forward to seeing him kind of explore his potential. Like I feel like I don't feel comfortable with exploring it for a while again. At least psilocybin. Like the last experience I had, I think was maybe a week and a half ago now, maybe a week ago. where I also took 2.22 grams, and I wouldn't say I didn't have a good time. I just I spent some time with my family, and it was extremely awkward because I'm very open about it. I like tell them, straight out that I'm eating some mushrooms, and then I spend time with my mom and my sister putting icing on biscuits, and then trying to package those biscuits in cellophane wrapping, single-use plastics, right? And also, she wanted me to put them in like three biscuit no no four biscuits next to each other, three biscuits high. But when they're four next to each other, three of them gets to lay flat in the package and one of them is at an angle. And I'm very much order or chaos. So like it doesn't have perfect order. So there must be and my mom was like, no. And then putting icing on the biscuits, like always feeling like I'm perpetually stuck, right? Like all of the fractals that I got to experience in this moment, I have to re-experience over and over and over and over and over again. And it was surreal. It was so surreal. And with that amount of awareness in that moment, I felt like I could not human being. I was like, oh my goodness, how am I supposed to how am I supposed to do exactly what it is I'm doing right now? How am I do- how am I supposed to do this? Does it again. How am I supposed to do this? And I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe just being a human being is all right. I can surrender to that as well. Dan is here with us. So nice to have you. Thank you for joining us. Time doesn't exist. No, it doesn't. Your perception. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I think I've missed a bunch of them. It's hard when you. It's hard when you have these beautiful experiences and your wife won't try them, lol. What can you do, Joe? You can just live your life and share your experience. Your perception realizes it's it all at once. Yup, exactly that. Time dilation while melting into oneness is truly a frame per second type of experience, right? I'm so happy that my trying to explain it is actually coming through, right? Like I'm making sounds and we're all collectively hallucinating. And we're like, yes, this hallucination makes sense. And we're like, what? But it was a hallucination. Yeah, but it kind of looks pretty. Subconsciously willing existence based on observing possibility. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Subconsciously willing existence based on observing possibility as you understand it. You're in a real bad place with your family, man. Be careful with drugs. My friend, I'm not in a bad place at all. Not even remotely. Like, really. I'm not in a bad place. I just feel like I've wanted to share with them. Especially because I know I'm not trying to lay them astray. It's like we have all of these, scientific data sets right now of like these foods are extremely bad for you. These exercises does so much for your brain health and antidepressant, effects. These things for your microbiome allows you to have more serotonin in your brain, which makes you feel better on a daily level. No, 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 no. Like just things that I've been implementing in my life that have made me feel significantly better in a day-to-day state of existence have allowed me to do what it is I'm doing. Like I had to do so much work on myself in order to stay sane, being present every day. Like I had to take care of myself, otherwise I would have lost my mind. And it kind of like came one on one. Like it's a molten together project as well. And if I try to share these things, I get frustrated, because I feel like they don't care. Maybe they're more aware than I am. Maybe they're more awakened, technically, because they know that the body isn't what's important, and they can eat what they want and live the way they want, and when they die, they're still going to be reunified. So I'm surrendering. I'm surrendering. That is where my my whole stream today is coming from. It's not from a place of, oh, things are bad, oh goodness, I should stop saying things. No, it's just an acceptance. Thank you though, Joe. It's hard to be open. It literally makes you open. I know, friend. I'm okay being open. Dude, I had to be. I had to learn how to be okay with being open. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do what it is we're doing right now. It's such a beautiful moment that you want to share it. If it isn't received well, you'll feel like you're wrong and bad. Yep, yep, yep. You're completely right, Joe. I've experienced that as well. Time loops are real, and I've had them. They suck to be trapped in. They can. They can. Sometimes you get trapped in one of those loops because you're not learning something. You're afraid of something instead of, loving whatever it is you're being faced with. Choosing love of whatever it is you're being faced with. Calamitous cheese! It's been a while, friend. You're a good lad. I wish you the best. I know you'll thrive and spread love. You got a good spirit. Thank you, beloved brother. That's so nice of you to say. Thank you for joining us as well. It's been a while. How's you been? How's life been treating you? Side thought: would abstract arts be considered organized chaos? Hmm. Yes, maybe. If the artist wants to label it that way. Not being able to be yourself without being scolded is a bad place, in my opinion. I think it's a matter of perspective. It's just a matter of perspective. I don't consider myself to be in a bad place, friend. I've been in bad places. Believe me. I'm in a good place right now. Body tricks the mind, tricks the body, tricks the mind. Yeah, perception causes your body to feel something. Your body is basically just a receptor to what it is your mind is outputting, and your mind is the processor of the things that are being received, right? So the perception you form on the information you receive becomes the story your body gets told of, like, oh, thing, beautiful, gratitude, love, appreciation, oxygen, water vapor, shade, etc., etc., etc. Thorns, birds poop from it, drinks water, drinks water. It's very hard coming up with negatives looking at a tree. But then, because of the experience that I'm putting into, or at least generating from the like basically rough stimulus, my body is like, oh wait, seems things are sick. That's, you're like, oh, beautiful, beautiful, oh, wonderful, grateful, oh, okay, oh wait, things are sick. Instead of it being the opposite of, like, oh goodness, I'm in danger, because clearly the brain is not happy. I need to move myself. I need to do something. I need to release the stress hormone. I need to, etc., in order to feel better. Wait, did I miss something? Or are you just exhausted, Melt? Did something happen at home? Just an unfortunate exchange, Heather, this morning. Empowering title today. And you are so loved. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate you sharing the space. Blessed morning to you as well, Jace. Thank you for the bass. For the bass. Questions, Melty. If you were playing a Christian church stream, sort of, through your speaker tomorrow, that wouldn't. What would the reaction be? I mean, in that case, I feel like it would probably be. Then it would be okay, And it wasn't through my, like, big speaker. It was just through my cell phone speaker that I was listening to the Terence McKenna lecture on alchemy. It was pretty fascinating. I loved hearing what he had to say, because if even though I don't have to, like, and I know this, and I feel this so true in my heart. The fact that you can listen to information, you can entertain something without believing it, and I feel like maybe that distinguishing reality is not present, in certain relationships, and that's okay as well. But if it was something like that, then suddenly it would be tolerable or acceptable, because people want to hear that, apparently. Lynn, Melt, I'm sorry you got hurt today, but please remember the gift of breath in your body and the earth beneath your feet. This too shall pass. Thank you, Lynn. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, friend. I'm just being aware. I'm trying to be present with what I'm becoming aware of. And like again, surrendering isn't necessarily something that you can be enthusiastic about, right? You can't lay down, or maybe you can, like, lays down, spazzing on the ground, surrender, surrender. Like that image of surrendering is a little bit jarring, isn't it? So there has to be like a, I lay down, a little bit. Thank you, Lisa. I would like to hear what this hippie dude has to say. Well, you've had 35 minutes, Toast Melos. I hope you liked what you heard about the bed. Thank you, Gabby Goo, for the love as well. It's nice to have you two here. 365 says, yes, sir. Surrender is great. Good job. Thank you, friend. Thank you for seeing the same. I feel like I've become quiet at work for the same reasons, but I'm the one who likes to share excitement, so it causes turmoil in my beingness. In the succession, in the seclusion I created for myself, it created a fear of expression over time since I hadn't worked out that muscle, but I'm currently trying to get myself out of that quiet habit again. Creating good communication experiences, exercising my throat chakra, you friends have helped me work towards that goal. Man, that makes me happy to hear. Thank you for that, Siobhan. I feel the exact same way, that want to share excitement. And then feeling like if I share this excitement and it's received poorly, that is going to be a little bit of a bummer. So I would rather just keep this bit of excitement for myself, this bit of light for myself, instead of shining it for others and then having it extinguished. I see your light for what it's worth, Jovan. Like I have to put on shades sometimes, so bright is it. Thank you for the love you share. Thank you, friend. This is a long time coming, and enough is enough. This space has been such a blessing. You friends here impact me so much. Thank you all. I love you all so much, and we love you. Thank you, Shannon, so much for being here and for showing up so consecutively. Oh, look at Toasty and a Gob Gob. Like, it's so crazy that you do two dudes usually come in like in tandem. Just like super dudes, like the friends showing up together. It's so beautiful. That's beautiful. Surrender MJ. I actually thought about that again. And I literally smoked that much of it before surrendering it again. So, you can feel for yourself what you feel about it. Archangel Grayson. So it's hard for you. I think it's hard for all of us, friends. Surrendering is not necessarily something that's easy. Like there's a big part of ourselves that wants to be in control. And then there's the aware part of us that realize you are and aren't at the same time. Like you're that infinite paradox as well. That the part of you that is in control is so much more vast and intelligent than you are. That if you were that, you would have chosen to be what you are now. How you are now, where you are now, with what you've been through. And that is hard to surrender to. It's like a it's like a paradox. We're like, what? What do you mean if I was the ultimate being, I would have chosen to be what I am right now? It's like, yeah, that's the trip. If you were literally the ultimate union, the ultimate God entity, with all the power to experience anything that could be experienced, within infinity, that is you. Literally. With the life that you're going to live, with the things that you're going to experience, the people you're going to meet, the experiences, the food, the beautiful, opportunities to dance, the architecture, the nature, all of the things you're going to experience is what God have chosen to experience through you, as you. And it's a surrender while at the same time being an empowerment, which also makes it a paradox. So it's trippy. It is hard. It's hard to wrap our heads around these things sometimes. Ego death makes you put yourself back together piece by piece and understand and acknowledge that each aspect of life, but not everyone experiences this or cares. It's true, Joe. That's why, like the Meltmore name is something that I chose. is because it's a reminder of that melting away of the ego as well. To melt it away and to reassemble myself into that which I want to be. To melt it away and to leave what is at my core. Awareness. It is an easy. It is it. So ironic. It is as easy or as hard as you make it. It's true as well. You are, after all, the creator of your own reality. Howdy, Heather. Tips hat. I love that. Hmm. Well behaved troll says yes, yes, Toasty. I felt he was a hippie too, but thought it might be rude to call him so. Thank you, troll brother. Hippie, technically toast, misspelled hippie, unfortunately. But you, in turn, spelled it correctly. And the way that you spelled hippie, because of an insight, a perspective, a little fractal that a friend shared in stream, hippie now in my mind pulls from the fractal of it meaning highly intellectual person pursuing inner enlightenment. So hippie instantly that little message. So thank you. Either way, Mr. Well-behaved troll, you are beloved. Do the acronym now. There we go. It's been done. It's been done, Toast. Thank you so much. I find if your father would just realize and listen to what you believe in God, to, to that you do believe in God, you believe God is the good within yourself. Love you, brother. I believe God is the good within every single one of us. Like it's this acknowledgement of God within me, but also at the same time, with the same amount of intensity, acknowledging the God within every single other person, and to address them as such, and to think of them as such, and to want to share love with them from that place as well. Of like, I see you, and I could not want anything but good for you. You hella look like Brad Pitt. That's a first. Thank you for that one. I don't think I've ever gotten that one. My main phone is like on 18%. I don't know if it's gonna last that long. For some reason, it didn't properly charge. I think maybe my screen was on. I don't know. Hopefully, it was just that. I struggle more with calling me a baby. To be honest, him calling me a baby. Who's calling you a baby? So much love is being shared. I'm missing it a little bit, Lisa. Dude, the fractals and parallels are so uncanny. My family isn't nearly as annoyed, but they still think I'm so weird for walking around blasting Melt and Uncle Becky. They are like Terrence McKenna in my house. Oh, yeah, like as I, closed my eyes, I saw this just like snowflake geometry, kind of like six geometry hexagonal geometry. Brother Bear, thank you for sharing that love. Ryan, like that is such a compliment. Like I really look up to, Ellen Watts and Ram Dass and Terence McKenna. If I could be half as good as a speaker as they were by the time I'm their age, I would have been blessed. Suddenly, my right brain starts playing Eye of the Tiger. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. We're training, friends, right now. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Ryan. Came here specifically to send blessings your way. Jumpin' Jack Jumanji. Damn. Those were some good blessings. Thank you so much for that. Salty, as you've been joining us. Good morning. Seeing you and sharing the space with you today. It's been such a time without you. It's such a good time having you here again, Toasty. Nope. Salty. I appreciate you joining us. Toasty, I'm so curious what your life is like right now. Please send me a note on Discord. I'm curious as well, actually. Sending love to South Africa. Thank you, Jumpin'. Meaning to reply to you. Will do. Thank you for that, Toast. Yes, I think I posted this question in Discord once. If anyone wanted to chat, Jackson's father has Asperger's. He nearly he has nearly no sensitivity. It does make it hard. Not only does he struggle to relate to my emotions, he oftentimes is the trigger. Mm, that is difficult. Like you're the emotional one, but he's the one that's making you emotional. Not the infinity. Hmm. Is it the same things over and over again? Like that is the real question, and I feel like it might be, or it may be the same set of things, right, Heather? I feel like I see it in my mom as well. Like there's this set of things that gets done over and over and over again, and my mom keeps fighting about it over and over and over again, and nothing changes. And it hurts me because I try to help where I can. I've tried to change as much as I can in my life. I've changed. Goodness. Oh goodness, we all change. That's kind of the point sometimes. But like I still see my mom and my dad fighting about the same things they've been fighting about for as long as I've seen them in fighting. You know, like it's so eerie. It's like watching that loop in front of your eyes over and over again. So I'm so sorry, Heather. Sending you so much love. Lisa saying I got to behind on Discord, but I felt kind of love. I'm also like AFK from all of the Discords. I have had my mind very full, and I'm studying as well right now, which I've never actually done. I feel mildly ashamed to say that. I've never actually studied, but now I'm doing it. I'm like, yeah, that's sick. I'm gonna watch 3.5 hour lectures again, and then take notes. What? Who is this person sitting down and taking notes right now? I'm like, okay, fine. Guess we're doing this now. Mm. What about that middle button? Does that have potential to be buttoned? This one? You want this one buttoned? Sure, friend. Just melting as much as I can. Thank you, Katie. Hey, hey. So happy to see y'all. I like your necklacey. Thank you. Thank you so much, Katie. It can be brutal. Going through life, knowing the comfort you seek will never be there. Feeling like my emotions and needs don't matter. It's tough to admit that I must be who comforts me. I feel not only, right, Heather? Like at least you have us now to comfort you in at least some emotional way. Like we're here for you. We're in this moment with you. We're experiencing this feeling with you, and you're not alone in that anymore. Hello, is a leafy down? That's a nice mice. Hmm? Little peppy long stockings. Feel that deep. Yeah, me too. I hope that when you feel the security of your own comfort, that you realize your strength and capability. Tell these absolutes to get out of here. There is no never. Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful, set of words as well, Jovan. I love you, Fran. I've seen how much of a lover and a feeler as you are, and I admire your heart. Thank you so much, Jovan, for sending so much love. It's crazy. So, so, so glad that we've been going through this together. It just shows the amount of positivity that comes with communication. That is where I feel we need to be focusing as people. We are on the cusp. We just have to talk. Ooh, we're talking. We're talking, Isaac. We really are. I think more so than ever. It's beautiful. Pick up dog. No, she's right here, but she's doing her own thing. She's doing her own thing. You are experience. You are experience acknowledging that you are God experiencing itself, the universe. With love is the fabric, which love is the fabric of the reality. I completely agree. I completely agree, dude. That's literally my slogan at this point in life. Love is true. Love is true. If love is true is my slogan, my mantra is melt more. infinity. Melt more, melt more, melt over and over again. See the infinity. It reminds me. Thank you for talking with me, Isaac. Genuinely. The real question is how does everybody stand on the door versus wheels debate? How does everyone stand on the doors versus wheels debate? I am full wheels, bro. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Am I the boomer? Am I the boomer? I just had to completely dim my phone, but I think I may have dimmed too much. Like it's like almost pitch black, but I want to have it last as long as possible. So I won't be able to read any YouTube comments. I'm so sorry, friends. Like I can't pick up dark. I can see it if I get really close. The real question is, Meltmore, East Coast Rabbit, thank you for joining us. Wheels versus doors. Like I'm guessing the question is like I'm just trying to the fractal that is being shown to me is like wheels versus doors. Would you rather have a car without doors or with doors but without wheels, or with wheels but without doors? And Ryan is like, I'm full wheels. Like Ryan would want wheels but no doors. I feel I would also rather have wheels and no doors because at least then your car is still functional. But I feel I might be off. Might be a little bit off. Interesting. I am on the fence. When I think of the amount of cupboards in the world, I get a little towards the door side. Okay, so there's the like now I have a new little bit of information. So the fractal changes into you can either choose there is wheels or there is doors, but there can only be one or another. Like wheels have done a lot. Like unfortunately, if we don't have doors, we're not space traveling ever. We'll get things done with wheels on the surface of the planet, but we're never space traveling because you cannot space travel without doors, right? A trip. Shout out to the Eric for making our camping trip awkward. Shout out to Eric. Nonetheless, maybe you needed to feel some awkwardness. Are hinges wheels? I might argue. Hinges, I'd say no. Uh, now caster wheels. How about bearings? Then though, it's a chest door. I'm saying doors. I think all of the homes that have tons of doors and cupboards and no dishwasher, so no wheels there, might only be drawers in the home. Like I feel things would be very impractical without wheels. I guess we could still use tracks, but even tracks use wheels. We could be using levitating technology with magnets. That wouldn't require us to need wheels. And we could still have doors. I'm leaning more doors now. Like I'm just like trying to like we're going to just have to spend a lot. I just imagine like our entire evolution as humanity, but no one ever thinks of a wheel. Like that's just not an idea. Like there's just this wall, this firewall in front of that idea of like human beings can never think of the wheel. They can think of anything and everything else, just never a wheel. What a trip! What a trip! And maybe somewhere in infinity as well. Look what you did! Now I'm picturing a tandem post golf track. Like I feel like now I see like Gob is basically shirtless, oiled up, riding the tractor, and like Toast is also shirtless, oiled up, like loading bales of hay on the trailer as the tractor drives past, just like slow mo. I'm so sorry. My comment stalled out at 99. Dude, synchronicities but the day. Thank you for joining us, man. It's so nice to have you here. Yes, same sets and kinds of things. The unemotional one can learn and change, but awareness, admitting the issue, must come first. In my case, there just isn't. That just isn't so. He can't see anything but his perspective because he's autistic. So your feelings are on you. That is a difficult situation to navigate. How long have you been married, Heather? If you don't mind me asking. Loose reporter, it's nice to have you here. Hello, Eden. Thank you for joining us, friend. How have you been? Lisa's here as well. We have two Lisas in chat now. I couldn't be more grateful for the friends I've met and all of you. I realize now that I'm not alone. I seek to be enough and strive to be better. I love all of you. Javan, you're the sweetest friend. She really is. Like I'm like 100%, there with you. Thank you so much for the love you share as well. Lisa's and Heather. I appreciate you. Hey Mel, Javad, Ninja. Thank you for joining us, Lisa. Mm-mm. Again, hey, Loose Reporter. Oh, the doors versus wheel things. The question uh, are there more doors or wheels in the world? I'm so happy that you friends didn't like fill me in on any of the information because then my brain was just like, okay, let's generate fractals. Instead of you giving me the endpoint, I'm just like, oh, more fractals. How about this scenario? How about these scenarios? So thank you. Okay. More doors or more wheels? Definitely more wheels. I think that's a strong definitely in my mind. It is a strong definitely, but I'm not willing to admit that I might be wrong on that. I'm just imagining all of the things that have wheels. The amount of vehicles that have been produced, the amount of toy cars that have been produced. Like those also count as wheels, right? Dude, that's a lot of wheels. The amount of wheels and like conveyor belts in our manufacturing facilities, like each of those big industrial like manufacturing conveyor belts could have like 1,000 wheels, dude. That's just in one building. I think it's a strong wheels. It's definitely strong wheels. Oh, what's up? You're like the Grand Master of Chillin'. new new fractal title. Thank you. Like the previous nice one that I resonated with was Infinite Companion, but the Grand Master of Chillin' sounds very 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 esteemed as well. I just imagine like myself like I in a fantasy world kind of like introducing myself as such with one of these titles. It's like, oh, hello, I am the Infinite Companion, and just like someone's face when I say something like that, or hello, I am the Grand Master of Chillin'. Are you okay, dude? Thank you for that, brother Bear. I really appreciate it. I'm melting fine. There we go. Thank you for melting with me, friend. Anthony Delano. That's a nice name. Unless I said it incorrectly and it's supposed to be Antuani. Antuani Delano. How's your day, Mel? My day has been challenging, but it didn't rob me of a second worth of awareness. So I feel everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. How about your day? I know it's just starting, but do you have any plans for it then? I like this idea of choosing no wheels or no doors, though. I mean, it's a whole other, topic of discussion. That's the thing. You can literally go into an infinite amount of fractals just with those two wheels and doors. How much complexity will no doors in a universe look like to the species trying to figure out a way around that? How would a universe with no wheels look like? Man, I'm just imagining like even the spiders, like the trapdoor spiders, like they just build a wheel instead. Somehow, like they wheel a wheel forward and then come out of the barrel and then wheel the wheel back, something. I'm melting 5, perfect. Currently melting, waking and baking 2. There we go. Oh snap. Maybe I'll do that as well. I'm getting high in weed. There we go, bubs. Today's joint was rolled with the intention to surrender. I feel like it took us some places, huh? It really is a melting experience, even for me, where these streams will take us sometimes. Because depending on you friends, it goes one way or another. You're right, I'm 20. I'm 20. I'm 20 Delano. Delano. I'm 20 Delano. I'm writing the second one on the first one. Your audience comments are funny. Good people. There are some high quality human beings, dude. 100%. And now you're a part of the audience, dude. So now you're also automatically labeled to high quality human. Suddenly there's this little slight sparkle around you, almost like a skin that you've equipped in a video game. Congratulations, you're glowing. Ah! Ah! My eyes! You're shining too bright. I'm just joking, Antonio. Thank you for joining us, friend. Hinges and wheels. Yes, physics support the Twitter wheels versus doors argument. I'm curious now, which one did they, on the Twitter polls, which one won? Get it. There we go. Hey, Worldly Assumption. Thank you for joining us, my friend. How are you and how are your loved ones? Forehead breaks out in a sweat. Objection! Your audience wants fun. Perhaps we would have a mastered levitation if we didn't have wheels. I mean, we technically have mastered levitation. Eden, do you mean like human levitation? Like being able to levitate as individuals? Like I've been thinking about how that could be possible. But like my mind is like, you have to tap into universal energy and then move your matter from another plane of existence upwards. And I'm like, the fuck, how am I supposed to do that? And it's like, you just have to get good. And I'm like, alright, thank you. It's not exactly useful information. It's like, oh, maybe one day you'll know how to use it. But on a technological level, we have figured out how to levitate. We're levitating things with sound as well now, albeit small things, and in very controlled environments. Who knows? What more we're gonna figure out to do. It feels good, follow. Thank you, my friend, sending you love. Mm. And outdoors, we'd all be a lot more exposed. Wake up to wild animals in the house. Also, if we didn't have doors, wouldn't that also mean no windows? Since windows are see-through doors. No, technically, maybe we wouldn't have openable windows. Is that a word? But we would have windows. And I'm thinking that maybe our doors would just be like almost weirdly constructed entrances where you basically come up to like a wall after going through like a doorway, and then you have to climb up the wall and then into your house. And that way, without a door, technically you would have another barrier to entry into your home. And if you're really paranoid, you could like booby trap that top of the place, which would serve as your door, because people would just know that if they enter someone else's house unannounced, they might, have a shotgun in their face or something. Should be a good deterrent. Like the goodness, just like a quick solution to the no doors and keeping wild animals out solution. Audience of friendship, brothers and sisters in love. Whew. Like we're the ones creating the love with within which we're standing, using information, using the infinity to create love. So, like there is two perspectives that I'm looking at right now. You know, one where I can see the tree within clear air. Let me show you actually what I'm talking about. It's a tree in clear air, right? And then there is a reflection of it where the outmost branch is aligning almost with the mountain that is over there. And my brain is like, why is that? It's like, isn't that neat? Perspective. Like, I imagine what a trip it would be if you could, just place a bunch of random mirrors, like within maybe a headspace or being able to levitate them as well. What a trip that would be. You would just suddenly see like an infinitely more amount of perspectives at the same time. It's a quail sitting in that tree. Let's hear he was gonna say hi. Sisters, car like spiders, windows. You're right. I'm imagining that robot dog that they made. No, please. Cars have legs instead of wheels. I mean, those things could actually gate. Like get some velocity. Maybe we would have like like centipede cars where they have like a bunch of like waving legs. Could be even creepier. My feelings exactly. Friends, thank you so much for joining me. There we go, and I can see on my screen again. Thank you so much for joining me. I never surrender, Zanoa. You have to sometimes, brother Bear. You have to sometimes. Like in the same way that night, where a dude literally drove into Zanoa's house with his car. It's like you would think, a house has a very low likelihood of getting into a car accident. You know, on the premise of it not driving on the road every single day. But someone hit the dude's house. And after that happens, you have to surrender. You have to be like, oh well, guess you came back into the stream even. I guess my house got hit by a car, yo. Guess that's a thing. You surrender, dude. Like we do have to surrender sometimes. We don't have to surrender to the point of not doing anything. I don't think that is the way out. But when it comes to the things that we don't have control over, those things we do have to surrender to sometimes. Take control of yourself, but surrender to the external environment sometime. Joe, debate on how many wheels versus how many doors in the world. Thank you for letting me know as well. Thank you for your uplifting thoughts today, Mel. Thank you for allowing yourself to tune in and for being here with us, Mario. Have a good day, Melton Peeps. Have a good day, friends. Hopefully, while there may be someone whose content and says good enough of an inven- invention like the wheel, there's someone who says, what else can be invented like levitation? Exactly. That would be, the logical answer, at least to me. That keeps red in our thoughts today. Is there something wrong with red? Now I have to know as well. Enjoy your evenings. Red clicker? Like, please let us know, Lisa. She messaged in Discord. A tree fell on her house. Dude. 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 Oh. That is so absurd. Man. So, at first glance, I saw like this little, almost like child's drawn house. And then from the child's drawn house, these symmetrical, like branches was growing out from them. So, if I wanted to, I could interpret it as maybe still more growth that could come from that experience, albeit extremely uncomfortable. I hope the damage is not too bad because I can't imagine it not doing any damage at all. Oh shit, yeah, big oh shit. Make sure to send her love and thoughts. Sending her love and thoughts right now. Thank you so much for letting us know as well, Lisa. I really appreciate it. I'll have to pop into chat. I've been so busy this morning, poor girl. Thank you for sending love, Eden. You're doing it right now, friend. Also, thank you, Mel, for streaming. Thank you, Lisa, for showing up. Seeing you every day is one thing I look forward to most. I appreciate you, friend, and for all the streaming you do every day. Thank you, friend. I appreciate you appreciating me. I love you so much. Oh, you modern day hippie. Where are you from? Mr. Dedabs. I am from South Africa. Born and raised. Thank you for joining me. It's nice to have you here. I guess you could, you know, if you wanted to, label me as a modern day hippie. Cars into houses, trees into houses. Jeez. Oh goodness, the trees are finally rising up. They're like, oh wait, humans, enough of your shit. I'm gonna take care of business now. Maybe everything would be like hovering with those big fans, where we're all traveling around big big air hockey pucks. That would have been pretty lit. But like unfortunately, being in air, you know, with the nature of momentum, you kind of want traction. You know, having wheels and having them being on the ground is pretty lit. Having gravity is pretty sick. You know, when you're in the air, gravity somehow in that moment becomes your worst enemy. You do not want gravity anymore. But unfortunately, you know, you do not have the means to handle the ground either. So flying would have been like I still flying is great and all, but everybody is flying, dude. That's chaos. Like just extreme chaos. Y'all melted my brain. Where there are wheels on the factory line that make doors, and doors on the line of the GTG machinery that make wheels. Plus, those roll those roll out according accordion things for unloading trucks. Guess I sue me some certain dollars. Just melting. I like that your message melted my brain as well, Heather, for what it's worth. I love you, Mel. I love you. Thank you, Lisa. Sharing love, friend. I mean, do the doors and toy cars count? Well, they don't open, I guess. Most of them don't open, especially if you're thinking about Hot Wheels. Dude, Hot Wheels, man. There's still a kid inside of me that wants Hot Wheels, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna like look at the Hot Wheel for like 10 minutes, and then you're gonna like do this, and then you're never gonna touch it again. I'm like, yeah. Fine, adult self, fine, like fortunately, most of the things that we will be collecting will be made of light. No jokes. Miss Dabs, excuse me. Tips hat to milady. Miss Dabs, I'm sorry, my friend. Thank you for joining us, Miss Dabs. Well, they don't open, I guess. That's true. Can I ask how you support yourself? Income sources, general impressions? At this moment, I'm earning $314 a month from Patreon friends. That is where we are right now. We have like a 500 bucks goal, In South Africa, I can live. I'm not going to live comfortably, but I will be able to eat food with $500 a month. So that is like the cost of living goal that we have right now. And then while we've been working towards that, we basically started at the beginning of this year. I'm also training to become a certified yoga teacher, and then hopefully we can support ourselves that way as well. And I live with my parents at the moment. So thank you for asking, general impressions. Sending love to everyone in chat. Sending love to you. Dives out with cosmic baseball glove catch. Sending it right back at your friend. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love as well, Shannon. Hey, Kira Burr, tuning in just as we're tuning out. Get the tail end of the love. We love you, Kira Burr. Everybody collectively, Kamehameha, Kira Burr, with all of the love you have. You know, like I hope you're sitting down, Kira. Before I did that, suddenly Kira Burr just gets gets like loved with all of the light. Lol, cars with legs. Wait, isn't that a horse? Cars with legs is horses. Today we learn. Today I'm just imagining like aliens listening to this conversation. I'm like, are you sure the humans are an intelligent species? Thank you for joining us, Tate, at the end of the stream, Brother Bay. I was thinking about you today. Today I was thinking about you because Tate, I basically mentioned that he would like to have. I don't know if I'm supposed to be sharing any of that yet. You know, but then the thing that I'm not supposed to share, like being able to do that year after year after year, if you want to, Brother Bear, and then, you know, seeing us both kind of like grow and transform going into the future. You are loved, Tate. You are loved, Kira Burb. You are loved by everyone. Goodbye, friends. Have a good day, Melton Peeps. Have a good day, Mario. Have a good day, Joe. Have a good day, Mariah. Thank you, friends. Sending you love. Skibbity bobbity